let's start with their quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater last year played with the Saints, and this year he's signed to a 3-year contract with the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's not a whole lot of trust I've heard or seen around the fantasy football community with Teddy Bridgewater, but I think he produced pretty well last year. Being in the Saints, he played 9 games, had a pretty good completion rate, and a lot of people expect Teddy Bridgewater to rush around and not throw the ball as much, but he threw for 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and he only ran 28 times for 31 yards. So overall, I think he has what you need in a quarterback, and maybe just working on their accuracy and keeping those balls into a short passes and letting his receivers do the work needed. I think we're going to see a great producing Teddy Bridgewater, especially with DJ Moore and the weapons around him. I think we can see a great Teddy Bridgewater this year. What about you?
Yeah, I do agree. I'm just thinking through like the course of his career. He hasn't had a full opportunity to really take over a team, and I don't even know if that's the case here. They still have Kyle Allen, who produced and did. He had a pretty decent season. For the situation given, but they did finish 4th in the division with 5-11 record. So we'll see how Teddy does. He has around a 65 to 67% completion rating on average, so that should be good. And also, you have Christian McCaffrey.
And let's talk about him, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's been tearing it up in fantasy. This kid from Stanford is now the number 1 ranked running back in all formats, standard and running back. And overall, he finished number 1 overall in PPR and number 2 in standard leagues. The only one close to him was Lamar Jackson, which like people make the comparison that he is a running back, but I mean we saw what he did last year as a quarterback. Anyways, as a running back to tear it up, not only in a rushing for 1,300 yards.
13,000 yards.
Yeah,
new
exactly.
record.
13,000 yards, Christian McCaffrey. You heard it here first. No. 1,387 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. And then 1,005 yards receiving with 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's insane. It's great. He's the number 1 running back, not only in fantasy, but in the league, in my opinion. And so he's obviously the 101 in fantasy, and we can continue to rely on him. They did have a head coach change from Ron Rivera to Matt Rule, but even Matt Rule has said that they're still going to be using Christian McCaffrey as a featured piece in the offense, and they want to be able to use the team and attack in many different ways and using him effectively. So we might even see Christian McCaffrey just line up in the slot or line up in the far end and be that wide receiver that we all want him to be. And I think they're going to still continue to use him effectively. He's going to run through defenses and use his swole biceps to like push people over. I mean, the dude is ripped. And I think if you're going to get in his way, you better be ready to get knocked down.
Yeah.
What about you, Norris?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, he is impeccable. Like, it's incredible to watch. One thing I think about is Reggie Bonifant being in that number 2 spot. He has no worries. Just show up to practice. Just be on time. So that.
For the full NFC South breakdown, you can listen to our podcast at anchor.fm/flashfantasy. Or you can check out our YouTube channel, where we will be putting each team one by one and breaking them down just for you, so you can win your fantasy league in a flash.